Okay, so when it comes to crafting, first thing you're going to need is a weapon. I'm going to use this AK-12 as an example because I wanted to repair it up anyways. So when you're repairing a weapon, first you need to take a look at the current status of the parts. So here you can see it's red, yellow, green, green, orange. That's the general condition of the parts. Essentially, anything that isn't green needs to be fully replaced. If it's green, then it's essentially cheaper to maintain it. Basically, anything above 60% can be maintained with I'll show you really quickly, with a cheaper kit, essentially. So when you're repairing weapons, it's split up into two parts. So the main thing that you need to replace the barrel is the Type C weapon repair kit, or Type A, B, C, D, whichever one you have. It corresponds to what level of basic tools you have generally. The basic tools that you find, like, hang on, I can show you my stash. The basic tools that you can find allow you to craft Type A and B. Advanced gives you Type C, and then expert tools, which you don't get till later, lets you craft Type D. Essentially, what that lets you do is it lets you either buy, or I would recommend crafting these toolkits here, Type A, B, C, D. These let you replace parts inside of your weapon. So essentially, it takes the part and it makes a new one for one charge of the kit. Usually, you get about 3 charges per kit, and then these let you maintain parts. So essentially, it takes a part and it cleans it. These are cleaning kits and these are repair kits. The cleaning kits take parts that are above 60% and replaces them with a part that is above 100%. The repair kits take a part no matter what condition it's in and it puts it to 100%. So essentially, you want to use as many of these as possible until you are out of parts, and then use the repair kit. So how that's going to look, I think I have a couple here so I can show you. You can either craft them or buy them. Buying them is quite expensive, but I think I have a Type C here, yes, and then I have some Type C repair kits here. So essentially what I want to do is I want to take a look at my gun and I say, okay, I've got 2 parts here that are above 60%. And then what you do is you right click on your gun, and if you have the cleaning kit in your inventory, it'll pop up this inventory that'll say maintain parts. And you'll see I have replace, clean, replace, clean, replace. Replace is the repair kit, and maintain is the weapon cleaning kit. So I'm gonna drop the repair kit really quickly just to show you. Now you'll see I'm only allowed to clean. Oh, for fuck's sakes! I'm getting mugged. One moment. All right. Anyways, I just got mugged in my own base, so that's funny. Uh, Fuck, where was I? Right. So you'll see if I click on maintain parts here, it's been replaced with only the cleans, and that's because only these 2 parts are above 60%, the carrier and the bolt. So first thing I want to do is I want to actually clean those parts. So now these parts are at 100% and I don't need to worry about them anymore. Next thing you're going to do is check to see if you have any parts that you can just immediately replace. So for me, I have in here, I keep all of my weapon parts. I would recommend putting all of your spare weapon parts in a stash like this. And what you can do is you can hover over your gun and it will highlight the parts that it can use. So in this case, I'm basically going to take the best quality of whatever part I can that is highlighted, and this should let me replace most of the things. This is a perfect showcase, actually. So what that'll let me do, essentially, now that I have these parts, is I can open any workshop. You can do this. You don't have to have a workshop like I do. I purchased a workshop for my base. You can just use, I'll show you really quickly. You can just use any tools you have. Doesn't matter which tools, to open this crafting menu. And then as long as you have the repair kit, you can open up this tab here for your weapons and replace the parts that you don't already have. So now I've replaced these 2 parts here, and what that's going to let me do, I can drop this really quick to show you, is maintain those 2 parts. Now, I didn't have a barrel to replace. Barrels you have to maintain from within the inventory. You don't have to use this for any part that isn't the barrel, but you do have to use it if you want to replace the barrel. So, for example, if I wanted to drag this back in, I could, if that makes sense. Any part that's not the barrel can be hot swapped by anything. Though it has to be in the gun for you to use a repair kit to maintain it. The barrel, however, has to be replaced or maintained while it's in the gun, or you have to use a workshop like so and have the correct kit. So I'm going to show you essentially two versions of that. So here I can fully replace this barrel, and now I have a perfectly functional gun here. What you can do otherwise, I never looted this guy. Let me just grab his stuff. I tried to empty my inventory, but in here I have armor I'm going to show as well. In here I have a weapon that I don't actually have a kit for. The SVD is a Type D weapon, and I do not have the kit to replace these parts, even though I have extras of these parts. However, the barrel is above 70%. You can see that the first thing is green. The first thing is always the barrel. If you see a gun and the first dot here is green, that means it has a functional barrel, and you can actually repair it without having that repair kit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look and I'm going to see where my parts are. I think I have just enough. I might be missing one. I think I'm missing one part for this, but that's okay. What I can do now is, rather than going into the actual inventory of the gun, I can just drag and drop all of these individual parts. And now, besides, what I'm missing is that 3LV part. If I had that part, this would now be a perfectly functional gun, but these parts are still damaged. So what I would need to do is I would need to get a Type D maintenance kit, which you can get without getting the full Type D repair kits. You can see I have a couple of these, and I'll show you really quickly. You have in the repair toolkits, to make a Type D kit, you need expert tools, which are very hard to find, but you can make a Type D cleaning kit with only basic tools. Now, this does require you to find a Type D weapon with a working barrel, because you can't replace the barrel. But if you do, you can essentially fully maintain all of the parts in the gun up to 100%. Now, like I said, I'm missing that one part, the 3LV, so I'm going to put this back. And when I find the 3LV, I'll have a perfectly functional SVD, even though I don't actually have a Type D repair kit. For armor, things work a little bit differently. It's actually much easier to repair armor. You can't hot drop armors, like you can't take parts and drag them over the armors. You have to have the correct repair kit, but it is generally easier to repair armors, because all you need to do is take the correct pieces. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm hovering over here and I'm seeing, you can see the parts that this uses kind of similarly to the parts that a weapon uses down here, and I'm just taking the highest quality versions of them I have. And then you need the kit, which are light, medium, and heavy, essentially, for armors, rather than type A, B, C, D. And with that kit, I can go into my stash here, my workshop, and much like the guns, you can open your armor and replace the parts. And for armors, you'll see that the overall condition of the armor automatically improves. This is different from guns. Guns, I don't think, guns don't really have overall condition anymore. Or they do, but it's not really shown, and it doesn't really matter. Armors, however, have an overall condition that will go down, and you'll need to repair them, etc. And all you need to do is just place all of your pieces here, whatever you have. As a rule of thumb, all you really need to do is get it above 50%. So if you don't have all the pieces here like I do, as long as you can get it above 50%, which tends to be easy with everything uses either durable textiles or synthetic cloth, and they're easy to repair, you can get your armor up to quite a high standard. So you see here, I got this weapon, or this armor, to 86 without using a single kit. And then what you do is you find these armor kits here. These are like your, the small kits, like the Type D cleaning kit. And these let you repair your armor in the field. So I actually really fucked up my armor in my last fight, like the main armor that I'm using. So I need to repair it. Another thing that's important when you're repairing armor is there are some items that help you with repair. So generally, my favorites to use are tarpaulin, these things. But generally, anything that sits at like this part of your inventory, you can use to help you repair. So I'm going to take a couple of these and use them as an example here. When I go to repair my armor, this one's at 86. It's generally best to use the highest numbered repair kit that you have. So essentially, how this works is this repair kit will repair an armor above 80%, and it costs a lot less than this armor, which can repair one above 65%. This one costs 2,000 and this one costs 13k. So you can see there's a big difference here. However, if I try to use this 80 on my 69, I can't. I have to use the 65 because I let my armor get down. Essentially, the higher you let your armor get down, the more expensive it's going to be to repair it. So the best way to maintain your armor is to keep it above 90 and use kits that are above 90. I ran out of kits above 90, which is why my armor got this low. I got shot a lot. But now I can repair this, and just to show you, you can see these like supportive materials here. Tarpaulin is the best one. If you find these, always keep them because it gives you 10% repair, which is amazing. But things like the ball peen hammers and the synthetic ropes and such are good too. There's also a couple of armors that help with that too. I have in here just a bunch of random armors and stuff. These cloth masks, if you find them, and especially if they're in bad condition, like this one, you might make a case for breaking because the cloth in it is really good. But these ones at 6% and 19%, I can use these to increase the value of this armor. Essentially for free. It uses it along with the kit to increase the overall condition of the armor. I only want to repair it up to that point because I'm just planning on selling this armor. This one, however, I'm going to use to repair my main armor. That one can go up to 85, and you can see the overall stats of the armor improve. And I can completely finish this off here. Do I want to fuck with this? Yeah, no, I'm just going to use another tarp. You can see I have stockpiled a lot of tarp because it's very efficient for using things. And you can break it down for certain materials too, but I don't really need those materials, so I'm able to just break down all of my tarp and stuff. I keep all of my like crafting materials and stuff in my workshop here. If you don't have a workshop like this, you can just keep them in your stash. I would recommend, until you can set up a stash of your own, to set up a stash nearby a workshop so that you don't have to kind of run back and forth. Grabbing your stuff, going to the workshop, going back and forth between your stash and stuff. That's, I think, is just about it for repairing weapons and such. What I will show you, though, is how to essentially strip things. So, say I found this is a good example. Say I found this gun on this person. This Makarov, you can take a quick look at it and see that it's completely worthless because it's red, orange, yellow. None of those parts are useless. This is mostly useless, and if I didn't want to use this gun, what I would do is I would click field strip, and I see that there's a green part here, and I would take the part that's above 60%. You take the green part. That would be this trigger mechanism, and that gave me the working trigger mechanism here, and then I could put that into another gun. That's kind of how it goes with looting. You don't really want to loot guns unless you plan on using them. You essentially, like, if I just killed this dude and I came over here, I saw that part in his gun, I would go, whoa, okay, I want that part, take that part, and then just leave that gun. It's not worth the wait. It's just, dead weight. If you're early in the game and you really want to make some extra money, you can field strip and remove all and sell the low durability parts to the technician. Freedom's technician is over there. You don't make much money like that at all. Generally, if you have other methods of making money, it's not worth the wait past a certain point and just the time that it takes. But if you're like really, really struggling down in Rookie Village, you can make another 1,000 rubles. But like if I were to sell all of my low end parts here, I would make like 1,000, 2,000 rubles. And if you were really struggling for that, that's how you do it. The repair kits are also used for upgrading your devices. In the equipment tab, you can see, depending on which kits you have, you can upgrade your backpack, and you can also upgrade your devices, such as making a headlamp, turning it into night vision, getting better night vision, upgrading your detector from the basic detector to the mid tier to the high tier. Certain ones take basic tools versus expert tools versus advanced tools, etc. And the way to find these tools is in golden stashes. Whenever you do missions, you will get stash locations, which you've probably already seen, on your map. So I'm going to use my map here as an example because I think I have one. You'll see that I want to find a regular stash just to show you. So this is a regular stash, this white stash. They will not, to my knowledge, contain regular repair kits. Maybe once you get super far north, you can find the basic repair kits in white stashes, but what you're looking for is these gold stashes. These gold stashes generally will have less money inside of them than the white stashes. White stashes, you can find better stuff usually, like guns, armor, etc. These golden stashes will have in every single stash a repair kit of some type. The further north you are, the better that repair kit will be. So generally, anything around the garbage, agriprom, and lower, you will mostly find basic tools. And then once you start getting into like Dark Valley, Rostock, Yantar, Truck Cemetery, and the army warehouses here, you'll start to find the advanced tools, the like orange tools. Or sorry, the orange tools are down here, and the like the white and black tools are up here. The expert tools, however, are very difficult to get. You can get advanced tools quite quickly in a run, but expert tools take a long, long time, and that's because you have to be north of army warehouses to even have a chance of finding them. And even then, in Lemansk, Red Forest, and the radar, it's a very low chance. Like, I think a golden stash up here, which you can see I don't actually have any right now, it's still gonna take you like probably 4 or 5 of them to find one. The best way to find them is in Pripyat in the outskirts and like in Zaton and near the Skadovsk and such. But to actually get up here, you have to progress the main quest. That involves talking to Sakharov in Yantar, shutting down the Brain Scorcher and the Miracle Machine, and those are hard tasks. So generally, you can get basic tools very early, and there's a couple of ways to guarantee it. There is a person in Rookie Village named Hip who will give you a mission that will give you them. And if you're really struggling, you can get basic tools in Yantar for 15 red vodkas. Other than that, just do missions, eventually get these gold stashes, and you will find tools. If you move up from the Rookie Village and you somehow find advanced tools before basic tools, you can use advanced tools for everything that basic tools can be used for. So you don't need to worry about only being able to craft the high-end stuff. Advanced tools will replace basic tools. And if you're really struggling to find advanced tools and you're finding tons and tons of basic tools because you're not leaving the southern areas, because, I mean, let's face it, it's really scary in army warehouses and in wild territory, there's lots of radiation and stuff, you can actually craft one advanced toolkit with a ton of basic tools. It's not super worth it financially, but if you're really struggling to find advanced tools, you can craft them with 4 sets of basic tools and some metallic scrap. I would really recommend only doing this once if you're really struggling to find basic tools or advanced tools, but this is an option that's there. Another thing that's a very small thing that not a ton of people know is there is actually a crafting recipe at advanced tools rather than expert tools for making a heavy armor toolkit, and this is a really expensive craft. But if you find yourself struggling with the missions that will unlock the high-end areas that will let you get the expert toolkit to make the actual efficient crafting recipe, it can be worth it to like farm up for this with advanced tools and medium repair kits. That, as you can see, is what I did because I am on a max difficulty run and I did not want to mess with the Brain Scorcher and the Miracle Machine without having heavy armor, because heavy armor is very important. I think that's about all. Other than that, my main suggestion for you would be to find a place to make a stash. I would recommend either Army Warehouses or Rostock because they're very central. Rostock is very good for a beginner base. I would recommend, earlier on in my playthrough, I usually make my stash right around here by this bed here because there's a technician right there. And then I like to move up here because in this area you can set up kind of your own sort of space. You can see I've even made like a little shooting range here, just my little RP thing. And you can kind of place all of your things about. You can see I've got all of my repaired guns here. I've got my pistols. I've got my working armor, weapons that I want to repair, and I've got everything kind of like cordoned off where it needs to be. This is something I would recommend doing as soon as you get the chance. You don't need to set it up this crazily. You can just get a couple of these small little things from your faction trader. They'll store 100 kilograms and just drop them down, drop your loot in them so that you're not overweight. Stash your stuff because everything has a use, and everything will be able to repair other shit. That's my main things for you and your repair kits, and that's how you repair your guns. And if your guns get low on durability, which doesn't take very long, as long as they don't go below 60, all you need to do is just take a cleaning kit, right-click, maintain parts, and bring that back up to full. I have used multiple of these weapons for a really long time, and I very rarely need to do that. I think the weapon I've used the most in this playthrough is probably this AK here. This no, this one, this tiny one, and you can see it's barely damaged at all. Everything's still at 99. I've put a couple hundred rounds through it. This one I've also put probably about 300 rounds through, and the barrel's down to 96. Generally, you don't really need to worry about your guns wearing out. Besides if you're firing like up to 1,000 rounds through them, and SMGs tend to wear out pretty quickly. Rifles don't really wear out. The only guns I would worry about are the like fast firing pistols and stuff. They tend to wear out a lot faster. And things like if you're using a Scorpion, like I have a Scorpion here, this thing wears out like a motherfucker because it's not very reliable. So this thing, you can see some of the parts are down to like 89, 91, whatever. But this is after me putting like 500 rounds through it. So you don't really need to worry about that. Once you repair a gun, it's pretty much done. So it's difficult to repair a gun, but once you have it, you've got your gun. Your gun's done. That's all. Best thing I can recommend is set up in raw stock. If you don't want to make it through to raw stock, generally in Rookie Village, there's a couple of stashes that you can use just to store your early stuff. I would recommend setting up, if you can, near the Northern Farm if you really don't want to go to raw stock, and then move your stuff up to the garbage, and then up to raw stock. This is generally good no matter what faction you're playing as, unless you're hostile to duty. And the reason that I recommend moving up like this is just to keep your stash centralized. It might be tempting if you're playing as like Clear Sky to set up your stash in the Clear Sky base, but I would recommend against it, because then to get to your stash you would need to go a really long way from anywhere in the zone. Whereas if you set up your stash in, for example, raw stock, and you're mainly focusing on the southern areas, it's very quick to get back to raw stock. You're never more than like 2 areas away. And same thing with Army Warehouse, because I'm focusing on these northern areas now. Army Warehouses is never too far from any of these super northern areas. Those are my best stash locations for you in the early game. Enjoy that. This has gone on for about 20 minutes, so I'm going to end this here. I'm going to go upload it to YouTube. Sorry this took so long. I had to go shoot a bunch of motherfuckers, and that's it.